Every single year for the San Francisco 49ers, there seems to be a rookie who truly dominates the preseason. Last year, for instance, that player was Malik Mustafa, the safety out of Wake Forest, and this year, it's been the standout linebacker, Nickolas Martin out of Oklahoma State. When the 49ers and Salas selected him in the 3rd round, they saw the next Greenlaw type linebacker that could play sideline to sideline and truly set the tempo on the defensive side of the ball. And so far in 3 preseason games, he's largely lived up to that expectation. Most recently against the Chargers, for instance, he had a pass breakup, a forced fumble, and several special teams tackles. But to truly understand if Nickolas Martin is the next elite linebacker Robert Saleh found in the 3rd round, in this video, we'll go over his most recent Chargers film as well as his preseason as a whole to see his development as a player as well as what we can realistically expect out of him headed into the season. Initially to start out, where I wanted to look at the 5'11 and a half linebacker that comes in at 221 pounds is his ability as a run defender, because that's really why Robert Saleh drafted him in the 3rd round. When you're looking at San Francisco's defense last year, for instance, an area in which they truly struggled was short yardage situations, especially when the other team decided to run on them. But here with the Chargers facing 2nd and 1, Nickolas Martin is the player who makes all the difference. He quickly takes his read step and then identifies the fullback leading for the running back on this play, so without hesitation, he blows up this block in a similar way we've seen him make tackles so far in this preseason, and then I love how he sheds it and then is able to bring down this back for a loss on this play. In a similar way here with the Chargers facing 1st and 10, Martin is showing a blitz. And first, I love how Martin quickly identifies this guard pulling, which is why he starts to scrape across this offensive line. And then noticing the opposing guard making his way up to the 2nd level, Martin gets low and attacks this block, and then I love the way he's able to disengage on this play. When you watch it from the end zone angle, you can truly see how he's able to use his right arm to disengage from this block, and then watch how he hits. He puts his helmet right on that ball, causes the fumble, and Evan Anderson is able to pick that up. Maybe the most exciting part about Nickolas Martin as a player though is I think the best is yet to come, because we've seen steady improvement from him from week 1 to week 2 to now week 3 in the preseason, with probably his biggest improvements coming from his recognition and playing under control. Here for instance, facing a draw, he doesn't just drop off into zone coverage recklessly, but ensures it actually is a pass, and then with the quarterback handing it off, he quickly identifies it. And I love how he's able to shed this tight end's block using a one-handed swipe and then brings him down in the open field. If Martin is able to keep this up, Fred Warner has a great running mate for years. To further highlight this development, here against the Raiders, I love how Martin on this play ensures his quarterback doesn't take this handoff on, like, let's say a naked boot and run right around him, and then he chases down this play because of his motor. In a similar way on this play, with Martin playing on the line of scrimmage, I love how he's not chasing stats for himself, but rather is looking to see how he can help out the team. Here for instance, he does a great job of setting the edge and then gets his back to bounce it in towards the teeth of his defense. And while mainly so far I've been focusing on Martin's ability as a true run-stuffing linebacker, arguably this preseason he's made more plays in the passing game. And he's been impressive both in zone and man coverage. Here for instance, responsible for the flats in zone coverage, I love how quickly he's able to once again identify this play, specifically this tight end breaking towards the flat. So Martin, without hesitation, uses his sideline to sideline speed to get there, and I love his timing on this play, and he's able to deliver an absolutely brutal blow. And not only does this cause his tight end to drop it here, think about the damage it does throughout the game. Next time the tight end's going over the middle, he's going to be thinking about Martin. And like I was mentioning, Martin hasn't only been solid in zone coverage, but he's also been excellent in man coverage. Here for instance, with this tight end of the Raiders breaking towards the seam of San Francisco's defense, I love how Martin's able to respond on this play. Because even though initially Martin does an excellent job of not giving up on this play, rather he's able to identify this tight end, bringing it down, uses his left hand to come over the top and punch it out. In a similar way on this play, Martin is once again in man coverage, but this time on LA's back, and I love how he's able to play sideline to sideline and respond to this back. As soon as this back breaks, so does Martin, and honestly, he's lucky the quarterback wasn't more accurate on this play. Martin's coverage ability also allows Robert Saleh to get a lot more creative in his blitzes. Here for instance, it looks like Robert Saleh is sending both of his linebackers with Martin responsible for this back if he does break out. and with this back trying to break out to become the check down option, Martin does an excellent job of taking away this option. So even though he didn't get a stat on this play, a big reason why this quarterback was sacked was because of Martin's play and coverage ability. I mean, he truly is improving every single week. I would really like to see him grab onto one of San Francisco's starting linebacker jobs. In a similar way on this play, because Martin is such an athletic linebacker and has the ability to play man coverage with one of the fastest backs in the league, Robert Saleh can fake the blitz, but still, Martin is able to get there, and overall, he stops Mostert for a pretty minimal gain on this play. Another underappreciated part about Martin's coverage is just how great he is at identifying where the quarterback is going and then closing quickly and making open field tackles. To really exemplify this point, on this play, Martin is responsible for the hook curl zone, and with his back splitting both his and Robinson's coverage, he quickly identifies that, starts to close, and hits him pretty hard on this play. In a similar way here, week 1 against the Broncos, Martin is in zone coverage, and I love how first he takes away the deep option from this quarterback and he starts to read his eyes, and once the quarterback does decide to check down to this back in the flat, Martin quickly is able to come up and make the excellent open field tackle. The final strength of Martin's I want to touch on the defensive side of the ball is his ability to blitz the quarterback. During his Oklahoma State days, this is something he truly excelled at, and so far for San Francisco, it looks like he'll be excellent here. The play that I think truly exemplifies this came last week against the Las Vegas Raiders, where Robert Saleh faked the blitz with Tatum Bethune to get both of his defensive tackles on one side of this offensive line, which allowed Nick Martin to loop over the top, and while set up nicely on this play, Martin did an excellent job of coming through with this rip move to truly finish off this offensive lineman and get the sack on this quarterback. Outside of Martin's ability on the defensive side of the ball, arguably where he will have the most impact as a rookie is on the special team side of the ball, and in this most recent Chargers game, we saw him making plays all over the field there. Here, for instance, he does an excellent job of shedding this block and delivering a brutal blow in the open field. With all these positives being noted on Martin's game, there are some clear weaknesses since he is a rookie, with probably the biggest being his over-aggression. While sometimes it can lead him to make plays, other times he'll shoot right by the back. Martin will also have to prove he can remain healthy at the NFL level, as last year for Oklahoma State, he sustained a knee injury that caused him to miss the majority of the season. Even with these concerns to Martin's game though, when I turn on his film, I see a player that will be extremely successful in Robert Saleh's defense for years to come if he can remain healthy. And heading into the season, I do expect him to push for San Francisco's linebacker 3 job, most likely secure it, as well as contribute early on special teams. And who knows, by the end of the year, he could end up being San Francisco's linebacker too. But ultimately, these are just some of my thoughts on San Francisco's standout rookie linebacker Nick Martin, and I'd like to hear your thoughts down below. It would also mean a ton to me if you did enjoy this video. If you could go ahead and like and subscribe, it truly helps out the channel a ton. And as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.